Okay, then welcome back. Let's talk. So these are the things actually you people were asking. This is the dynasty. So slave dynasty, and then rise of Khilji. This is the timeline. But don't remember that timeline because nobody is going to ask you, and that will unnecessarily increase your burden. So Khilji dynasty, then Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, and this is the Lodi dynasty. All these dynasties. So you can find that Tughlaq ruled the longest and Khilji shortest. So shortest. Tughlaq. So shortest route was Khilji and the longest route was Tughlaq. The slave dynasty had maximum number of sultans, 10, and Lodis had only 3. So there were 10 sultans in the slave dynasty. This is the maximum number, and Lodi had only 3 sultans. Tughlaq was longest. And Khilji was shortest. So slave dynasty, Khilji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, and Lodi dynasty. This is the rule. Okay, so we are talking about the Khilji dynasty. So we have already discussed about the many rulers, those who ruled this period, Khilji imperialism, we will talk about the reforms of Alauddin Khilji, military reforms, market reforms, everything I will talk before you. Military reforms, revenue reforms, religious reform as well, and then we'll move to the Tughlaq. So let's talk about all these. So the dynasties that was captured by Alauddin Khilji, of southern India, beyond Narmada river. I told you that it was Yadava of Devgiri. So Yadava of Devgiri was a very important state that is in Maharashtra. Then we have this is the Andhra Pradesh region. Andhra region. This is Yadava dynasty. This was a Kakatiya dynasty. What I have talked about. Kakatiya dynasty. This is Hoysal. Hoysal, Karnataka. Hoysala was in Karnataka. Hoysal dynasty. And this is Pandya. Yadava dynasty. So these are the states which was actually taken by Malik Kafur. Malik Kafur was in charge of capture of these states. We have seen that Malik Kafur had defeated Yadava dynasty, had accepted the sovereignty of Alauddin Khilji. The ruler Ramchandra got the title of Rai Rayan, and then Kakatiya, Pratap Rudradev, he also surrendered and he handed over Kohinoor diamond to Alauddin Khilji. So these two accepted the sovereignty. Now the third state was the Hoysal state. Hoysal state Karnataka. Hoysal state. Ruler was the capital of the Hoysal state was Helbid. And the ruler was Birballal III. Birballal III. He also surrendered with Alauddin Khilji. He surrendered the Alauddin Khilji. So Hoysal state of Karnataka was also captured. So Birballal III, he surrendered himself to the Alauddin Khilji. So this is a third state, that is the Hoysal state. Fourth, Pandya dynasty. Bir Pandya. Bir Pandya. Pandya dynasty. Bir Pandya. Bir Pandya. He surrendered to the Alauddin Khilji. So capital of Pandya was Madurai. So these are the states surrendered by Alauddin Khilji. Surrendered to Alauddin Khilji. right? So we have seen the states and the expansion of Sultanate, but I told you that the state was annexed, not annexed in Sultanate, but the state was captured, but it was returned to the rulers. And the relationship was based on mutual sharing of tribute. So these states regularly keep on sending the tribute to Alauddin Khilji. This state was not integrated in Sultanate. This state was not integrated in Sultanate. This state was not integrated in Sultanate. Now come to the reforms of Alauddin Khilji. Reforms of Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji sent many reforms. He proceeded with many reforms. The first reform, look at the military reform. Military reform. Alauddin Khilji had huge standing army. Standing army. That means the army was paid by the state. Paid by state. Army was paid by state. He started paying soldier in cash. Alauddin Khilji, he started paying soldier in cash. He started paying soldier in cash. So became the regular army, standing army. He introduced Dag and Chehra. Dag and Chehra. Dag means branding of horses. Means all the horse had some symbols. So Dag means branding of horses. Branding of horses. Branding of horses. And Chehra means description of soldiers. Chehra means description of soldiers. Like the way that you go to examination hall, then your admit card is printed with that you have a symbol of til, cut mark. So that is how description of soldiers. So that there is no enemy in the military. All have the proper identity card and horses was also proper identified. So Dag and Chehra he introduced. Dag and Chehra he introduced. Alauddin Khilji. He was the first Sultan to commission a permanent standing army. I told you. He abolished the Inamdar system. Inamdar system means that those who got land for military service. Inamdar. Those who got land for the military service. inamdar. So some land for military service. Land for military service. Land for military service. Each soldier was paid by 238 tanka. Don't look towards that, it's only for symbolic. Looking like that military of modern times and then military of Alauddin Khilji. So each soldier was paid with 238 tankas. Tanka was a silver coin per annum. 238 tanka, that is per annum. The system of paying salary in terms of cash is called itlaq. This you must remember. The system of paying the salary in terms of cash was called itlaq. What is itlaq? What is itlaq? That is a terms of system of payment of salary in cash. Itlaq. He introduced Dag and Chehra. He introduced Dag and Chehra. Dag means branding of horses and then description of soldiers. Branding of horses and description of soldiers. Description of soldiers. So in terms of cash is called itlaq system. So land for military services. So this is a military reform. Okay, then we'll talk about market reform of Alauddin Khilji. Note down some of the important points along with me. Market reforms. Alauddin Khilji, he created 4 markets of different goods. Four markets of different goods. Four markets of different goods. Grain market, slave market, horse market, and cloth market. Cloth market. So market for 4 markets. According to Ziauddin Barni, this market reform was for military purpose. This market reform was for military purpose. So according to Ziauddin Barni, this market reform was for military purpose. Military purpose means this, according to Ziauddin Barni, this market reform was for military purpose. Military purpose. Since Alauddin Khilji was paying very less salary to soldiers, so in order to keep soldiers satisfied, he created markets for the soldiers. Since Alauddin Khilji had large number of soldiers, he was paying very less salary. So how to keep soldiers satisfied in a very less salary? How to keep soldiers satisfied in a very less salary? He created markets for military. He created markets for military. Prices in the military market. Prices in market was comparatively less. Prices in market was comparatively less than the open market. Prices in the market was comparatively less than the open market. Prices was comparatively less than the open market. Less than the open market. Prices was comparatively less than the open market. According to Amir Khusro, market reform was for welfare of the people. Market reform was for welfare of the people. Because even the common people were permitted to buy goods from the market. The common people was permitted to buy goods from market. But under a strict rationing system. Rationing system, you understand? That suppose you consume 5 kg sugar in a month. But from that military market, you could not get more than 1 kg. So therefore, a strict rationing system was introduced. A strict rationing system was introduced. A strict rationing system was introduced. So Amir Khusro was very correct that common peoples were also permitted to buy goods under the market, but under a strict rationing system. A strict rationing system. Common people were also permitted to buy goods from the market, but under a strict rationing system. Amir Khusro called it that it is for the welfare of the people. There was market supervisor. For each market, there was officer known as market supervisor. Market supervisor. Market supervisor known as Sahnai Mandi. Sahnai Mandi. There was spy in the market known as Barid. Barid and Munihas. These were the spy. They keep on roaming the market. They keep on roaming in the market so that nobody can do any malpractices in the market. So yes, absolutely. This is like modern canteen system for the military. You can see the prices in the canteen is comparatively lesser than the market. So its market reform is very similar to the military. And it was in Delhi. Wherever there was a military cantonment in Delhi, there was a market. So it was in the Delhi as well. It was in Delhi itself. So Barid and Munihas. Barid and Munihas. So prices regulation was followed. Everything I have already dictated to you people. So called Sahnai Mandi. There was two, Barid and Munihas. And Munihas. And the prices regulation was followed in and around Delhi only. So prices regulation was followed in and around Delhi only. Prices regulation was followed in and around Delhi only. Market reform. Then revenue reform. Revenue reform since he started payment in cash, so he stopped the Kikta system. So let me, I think it's a slightly less in size, so you people may have a problem. Let's look at the revenue reform. Revenue reform. He stopped payment. He stopped grant of ICTA. No more ICTA to military commander. So he stopped the grant of land of ICTA. No more ICTA to military commander. Because now military commander will have to take the salary in cash. So no more land was allocated to military commander. So he stopped payment of ICTA. He focused on increase in Khalisa land. Increase in Khalisa land. Khalisa land is a royal land. A royal land. Khalisa land is a royal land. Increase in Khalisa land. Khalisa land is a royal land. Land under the state, Khalisa land. He collected 50% of total production as land revenue. 50% of the total production as land revenue. So that is a very important stage to mark that land revenue was the highest. So 50% of the total product as land revenue. He introduced many taxes. Number of taxes he introduced. Ghari means house tax. Charai, grazing tax. Ghari, house tax. Charai, grazing tax. So if you have a Gai, Bail, Bakri, Murga, Murgi, then you have to pay more tax. It's not like that you could not pay the tax. So pasture land is also limited. Ghari and Charai. He also distributed Takavi loan. What is this Takavi loan? It is interest-free loan. Takavi loan is interest-free loan. Takavi loan is interest-free loan. Interest-free loan. Takavi loan is interest-free loan. So this is a revenue reform. Then what was his role regarding the religion? Alauddin Khalji, he said, I don't know Quran, I never read Shariat, but I do the things which is important for the people of the state. I do the things which is important for the people of state. I don't know Quran, I have never read Shariat, but I do the things which is important for the people of the state. So he had a great acknowledgement of pursuing the secular nature of state, that state should be relieved from the secular character. So I don't know Quran, I never read Shariat, but I do the things which is very, very important for the state. So he was first Sultan to separate religion from state and refused to pay allegiance to the Caliph. Refused to pay allegiance to the Caliph. So he was the first Sultan to separate religion from state and refused to pay allegiance to the Caliph. After death of Alauddin Khilji, Malik Kafur created the reign of terror. So Khilji has some different religious policies. So he was first Sultan who separated religion from the church activities. So religion, he said, I don't know Quran, I never read Shariat, but I do the things which is important for the people of the state. So he separated religion from state. Separated religion from state. Alauddin Khilji separated religion from state. After death of Alauddin Khilji, Mubarak Shah Khilji, he became Sultan. Mubarak Shah Khilji, he became Sultan. Mubarak Shah Khilji, he became Sultan. Mubarak Shah Khilji, he was killed by his Wazir Nasiruddin Khusro. He was killed by his Wazir Nasiruddin Khusro. Mubarak Shah Khilji, he totally annihilated the state. Mubarak Shah Khilji always came in the court in the women dress, dancing. So the prestige which was raised by Alauddin Khilji to such a high level, Mubarak Shah Khilji wanted to bring it as possible as down. So he was a very incompetent person. But Mubarak Shah Khilji, he called himself that he is Khalifa. So this is the only Sultan of Sultanate who got the title of Khalifa. Only Sultan of Sultanate who got the title of Khalifa. So Mubarak Shah Khilji, he is the only Sultan of Sultanate who got the title of Khalifa. But he was killed by his Wazir Nasiruddin Khusro. Killed by his Wazir Nasiruddin Khusro. And he had taken the title of Khusro Shah. Khusro Shah. He had taken the title of Khusro Shah. So Nasiruddin Khusro had taken the title of Khusro Shah and he became Sultan. So he was the first Indian Muslim who became Sultan. He was the first Indian Muslim who became Sultan. First Indian Muslim to become Sultan. First Indian Muslim to become Sultan. So obviously Khusro Shah, he installed idol in mosque. So he ordered to install idol in the mosque, and therefore he was killed by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. So first Indian Muslim to become Sultan, he immediately ordered to install idol in the mosque, and therefore he was killed by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. So that ended the Khilji dynasty, and that is the beginning of the Tughlaq dynasty. End of the Khilji dynasty and beginning of Tughlaq dynasty. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he was governor of Dipalpur. Before he became Sultan, he was governor of Dipalpur. So he was serving in a very high capacity. He was governor of Dipalpur and he was serving in a very high capacity. So obviously his strength was very much calculated, and then he did not like the person like Khusro Shah coming to the throne. So therefore Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he killed Khusro Shah and laid the foundation of Tughlaq dynasty. So I hope you remember the timeline which I have already shown you, and that timeline you must keep in mind. So now this is a Tughlaq. I told you Khilji was the shortest. Maximum Sultan came in the slave dynasty, minimum in the Lodi dynasty. And Tughlaq dynasty having the highest period of rule. Almost a century Tughlaq had ruled. Malik Kafur, he was the Malik Nayab, he was a deputy Sultan. So he tried to annihilate the family of Alauddin Khilji. He killed many of his sons. Right? So he killed many of his sons. So he tried to annihilate. But the loyal soldier of Alauddin Khilji killed Malik Kafur then. And thereafter, one of his sons, Mubarak Shah Khalji, became Sultan. Mubarak Shah Khalji was son of Alauddin Khilji. So Malik Kafur, after death of his master, totally discredited, suppressed the family, spoiled the family, annihilated the family. So loyal soldiers of Alauddin Khilji killed Malik Kafur, and after that this Mubarak Shah Khalji, he became Sultan. And Mubarak Shah Khalji, he was also a very person of very less characterful, always come in the court in the women dress. So prestige of the Sultanate was going down. His Wazir, Nasiruddin Khusro killed him and he became Sultan with Khusro Shah, and he was the first Indian Muslim to become Sultan. But he immediately ordered to place idol in the temples and in the mosque. So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, governor of Dipalpur, he was a Turk. He was from the Tughlaq dynasty. He came and he killed Khusro Shah. He was Indian Muslim, the first Indian Muslim to become Sultan, and then it had come across with the Tughlaq dynasty. So this is a Tughlaq dynasty, which is the longest ever period, 1320 to 1414. 1320 to 1414. So Tughlaq dynasty was established by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Or Ghazi Malik. Ghazi Malik. He is also known as Ghazi Malik. He established the city of Tughlaqabad. Tughlaqabad. He was the first Sultan to introduce the postal system by employing the horse couriers. He was stamped to death by an elephant. I will tell you that how he died. I will give you the beautiful story that how Sultan Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq died, and then how Muhammad bin Tughlaq became Sultan. That story I will bring for you. Just hold the minute. It's a very interesting story. So what I said that Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, GST. He became Sultan. He was from Tughlaq dynasty. He laid the foundation of city of Tughlaqabad. Tughlaqabad is near Delhi. Tughlaqabad. GST. Tughlaqabad is near Delhi. So during the time of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, his son Jonah Khan, son of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Jonah Khan, he integrated entire southern India in Sultanate. The integration of entire southern India in Sultanate, that credit goes to his son Jonah Khan. So Jonah Khan integrated entire southern India, entire South India in Delhi Sultanate. Integrated entire South India in Delhi Sultanate. So maximum expansion of Sultanate had taken place during the time of Jonah Khan, during the time of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq by his son Jonah Khan. So Jonah Khan was very active in southern India. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, GST, he was contemporary of famous Sufi Sant. He was contemporary of famous Sufi Sant Nizam-ud-Din Aulia. Famous Sufi Sant Nizam-ud-Din Aulia. Nizam-ud-Din Aulia was popularly known as Mahbub-e-Ilahi. Popularly known as Mahbub-e-Ilahi. Nizamuddin Aulia was popularly known as Mahbub-e-Ilahi. Mahbub-e-Ilahi is beloved of God. Nizamuddin Aulia was known as Mahbub-e-Ilahi. He was a famous Sufi Sant. But Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he did not had good relation with Nizamuddin Aulia. So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he did not had good relation with Nizamuddin Aulia. So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq did not had good relation with Nizamuddin Aulia. So popularly known as Mahbub-e-Ilahi. Nizamuddin Aulia. But Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq did not had a good relation. In fact, Nizamuddin Aulia was so popular that every time thousands of the people were there in his house. He always create majlis. Majlis, you understand, the gathering of the people. So he always create majlis. Sultan was perhaps jealous about his popularity. So Sultan many times asked Nizamuddin Aulia, don't talk politics. If you are a Sant, then please stay like a Sant. But in Nizamuddin Aulia, he gathered large number of people. He was very popular. I told you that he is known as Mahbub-e-Ilahi. So Sultan did not like the large number of gathering in the house, because large number of people at one place may create trouble for the state, may cause revolt in the state. Okay, so therefore he was not happy with the gathering at one place. So once Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he went to Bengal to suppress the revolt. And then his son Jana Khan was in southern India. So this is the time when Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq he went to Bengal to suppress the revolt, and Jana Khan, he went to southern India to capture entire southern India. So Nizamuddin Aulia, he organized a huge majlis in Delhi, huge gathering of the people in Delhi. So when Sultan Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq got to know that he organized the mahfil majlis without permission of Sultan, so Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq immediately ordered him, get away from Delhi, get out from Delhi. So Nizamuddin Aulia immediately replied, text message with his smiley. He said, Delhi dur hai. Delhi is far away. Something which you can't achieve, something which is very difficult, you sometimes say, Delhi dur hai. That means Delhi is far away. So how you explain yourself? So Delhi far hai. So then again Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq replied, आके बताता हूं कितना दूर है. So tension between Nizamuddin Aulia and Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq further heated at this moment. So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was in Bengal and Nizamuddin Aulia in Delhi. He said, आके बताता हूं कितना दूर है. Okay. Jona Khan, I told you, he captured the entire southern India and he collected large number of elephants from there. Elephants collected. He sent message to Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, my dear father, please wait outside and I will show you beautiful thing. So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was coming from Bengal. So he waited outside. He did not went to Delhi because his son requested him to stay out of Delhi and then he will present some beautiful thing to him. So outside Delhi, a huge wooden pavilion was built. Wooden pavilion on which Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq will sit. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. He collected large number of elephants, so he started the parade of elephant. Chota elephant, mota elephant, heavy elephant, all type of elephant. Parade of the elephant started. Jona Khan was very happy. Suddenly one elephant collided with the podium. Podium collapsed and Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he was trampled under the feet of elephant. So Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq died. So podium collapsed, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq died while watching the parade of elephant. And then he was not able to enter in Delhi. So everybody started talking. Look, Nizamuddin Aulia already professed, bhavishwani kar diya tha, that you will not able to come to Delhi. Delhi dur hai. And look at, he died. He did not able to reach Delhi. And thereafter the divinity of the Nizamuddin Aulia became so high that he became more divine than any divine. Okay, fine. So this is how the Nizamuddin Aulia come across, became the Mahbub-e-Ilahi. So have you understood the story that how Nizamuddin Aulia was so popular among all the Sufi Sant? So popular among all the Sufi Sant? Nizamuddin Aulia. So he is popularly known as Mahbub-e-Ilahi. So after death of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, his son Jona Khan, he became Sultan with the title Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So now Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he is the ruler now. Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Jona Khan, he became Sultan with the title Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Most educated person in the Islamic world. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, most educated person in the Islamic world. Most educated person in the Islamic world. He was prolific scholar in Persian, Arabic language, maths, natural science, theology, and an excellent lexicographer. So he was a lack of practical sense of judgment. So despite being so educated, most educated person of entire Sultanate, but he is known as the Mad Sultan in Delhi. All his reforms backfired. So he is known as Mad Sultan of Delhi. all his reforms backfired. So all his reforms backfired. So he lacked the practical sense. So despite being so educated, Muhammad bin Tughlaq lacked in practical sense. Lacked in practical sense. So he had taken too many measures. Let me talk about in the open seat. Otherwise, you people read that PPT. I will send it to you. And then, so some important works of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Important works of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. There are two sources. One is Rehla. Rehla. This is name of the book written by Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta. And second is Tarikh Firoz Shahi. This is written by Ziauddin Barni. Ziauddin Barni. Ibn Battuta, Tarikh-e-Firoz Shahi, and Tarikh-e-Firoz Shahi was written by Ziauddin Barni. Ibn Battuta wrote Rehla. So these are the important sources, two sources, important sources of life of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Important sources of life of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Tarikh-e-Firoz Shahi. Some important works, like first, he transferred the capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. Delhi to Daulatabad, that means Daulatabad was earlier known as Devgiri. Devgiri. So Devgiri was renamed as Daulatabad. Devgiri was renamed as Daulatabad. So Devgiri was renamed as Daulatabad. But because there was no cooperation from the nobles, no nobles came from Delhi to support the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, so it was again back to Delhi. So this project was failed. This project was failed. Delhi to Daulatabad and again Daulatabad to Delhi. Daulatabad originally had name Devgiri. So Devgiri was known as Daulatabad. So this project failed. Second, Khurasan expedition. Khurasan expedition. This is Khurasan. Khurasan is area of northern Afghanistan and Iran. This is called Khurasan. So Khurasan expedition. Khurasan expedition. Northern Afghanistan and Iran. This is called Khurasan. He sent he wanted to capture Khurasan, but he got the news that political condition in Iran had improved. So therefore he disbanded the army in between. So he constituted huge army. He kept the army in standby position. He wanted that situation in Central Asia should get more deteriorated so that he could easily conquer the entire Central Asia. But after some time he got the news that the situation, rather than getting deteriorated, had improved significantly. So therefore this is the reason why he lost the momentum of invasion and he disbanded the army. So his Khurasan expedition was also discontinued in between. It was a failed project. So despite the fact that he prepared the military fully, but he did not order the military to move in. And because he got the news that there is establishment of empire in Iran, So political condition became very stable. So after 1 year of the standby position of the military, he disbanded the military. Khurasan expedition. Third is Karachil expedition. Karachil expedition. Karachil is very small Rajput state. Small Rajput state. In Garhwal. A small Rajput state in Garhwal. A small Rajput state in Garhwal. So what happened? From that area, many rebellions come to Delhi. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he asked his ministers that from where these rebellions come to Delhi. They create chaos in Delhi and then return back to somewhere else. Then ministers said that they come from Karachil. That is Kumaon Garhwal area. Some small Rajput states are there. This is not part of Sultanate. They take shelter there. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he immediately ordered a military invasion over Karachil. And Karachil was immediately captured. But suddenly he got his ideas. After getting the idea, he suddenly had a light blowing in the mind. So he got the idea that why don't the military should cross the Himalayas to capture Tibet also. So his plan suddenly stuck, and the entire military was engulfed in glacier. So neither Tibet was captured nor Karachil was restored. This project also failed. So he was always in a position to make his project failed. Is always in a position to make it. Always in a position to make it. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, his expedition was failed. So his expedition was failed. So Karachil expedition, the Rajput state, Garhwal. So Karachil expedition failed. All the experiment that he was making. Third. Fourth experiment was introduction of token currency. Introduction of token currency. Introduction of token currency. there was silver currency in circulation in the state, silver currency. But due to global shortage of silver, global shortage of silver, Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to mint copper and bronze currency, which is equal in value with the silver currency. He said that why to waste the silver in minting the currency? Let us have a copper and bronze. So copper and bronze was used to mint the currency. Copper and bronze was used to mint the currency. Muhammad bin Tughlaq used copper and bronze to mint the currency. So global shortage of silver. Introduction of token currency. So once copper and bronze currency started in circulation, so therefore there was a flood of the fake currency, because copper was easily available in the house, and the many started smelting their copper to make the currency. So there was a huge circulation of fake currency in the market. So inflation was shooting up, and that is the reason why Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he said no. And thereafter he recalled the currency. He started asking all the copper currency to be deposited, and in return of that the silver currency has to be paid to the people of the state. So therefore his introduction of token currency failed, and thereafter he has no option but to recall the currency, and the state also became bankrupt in just exchanging the copper and bronze currency with the silver currency. Right, so this is how the next project, that is introduction of token currency, had also failed. So he issued a copper and bronze currency which was equal in value with the silver currency. But due to circulation of fake currency, because copper was easily available in the house, so there was a huge circulation of fake currency, and thereafter the Muhammad bin Tughlaq failed to make it. So this is how Muhammad bin Tughlaq lost the credential of the state. So state became bankrupt. So this introduction of token currency was also failed. Introduction of token currency was also failed. Okay, fine. So introduction of token currency. And lastly, he increased the rate of land revenue in Doab. Increase of rate of land revenue in Doab region. Doab means Ganga Yamuna Doab. Ganga Yamuna Doab. He increased the rate of land revenue in Doab region, that is Ganga Yamuna Doab. He increased with the 40%. 40%. In some books you may find 40 to 50%. So he increased the rate of land revenue in Doab region. But Doab was under the famine. He failed to assess the condition of peasant in Doab. There was a crop failure in Doab. So he failed to assess the condition in Doab. So Doab was under huge famine. Doab was under huge famine and he failed to understand the problem of the peasants, and therefore the peaceful state, peaceful province of Doab also came in the rebellion. So therefore he knew how to make the enemies. He loved the art of making the enemies. And that is the reason why, despite being so much educated, he failed to fulfill the expectation of the people. So this is how Muhammad bin Tughlaq you can define. He is a mixture of opposite, and that is the reason why he is known as Mad Sultan. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he was a Mad Sultan. So 40% to 50%. Increase in rate of land revenue. So because of this increase, there was rebellion in Doab region. Doab also come under rebellion. Muhammad bin Tughlaq said, ये कैसा स्टेट है, सर्दी ठीक करते हैं तो बुखार हो जाता है, बुखार ठीक करते हैं तो निमोनिया हो जाता है, निमोनिया ठीक करते हैं तो कोरोना हो जाता है. Means whatever the treatment he do to treat the disease, more explosive disease come across with. So ठीक करते तो कोरोना हो जाता है. And that is how the Muhammad bin Tughlaq is having the art of making the enemies. So 5 big programs he launched, and one by one collapsed. And after that he was super chilled. He was not making any experiment for many years, because he said that wherever he will make the experiment, things will collapse. Things will collapse. So 5 important measures he has taken. Lastly, he tried to do some groundwork. Groundwork. What type of work he did? What type of work is called groundwork? He tried to improve the agriculture. This is not 6th project, but this is a common thing that he used to do for the state. He tried to improve the agriculture. He tried to improve the agriculture. He tried to improve the agriculture, and established a new agricultural department known as Diwan-e-Kohi. New agricultural department known as Diwan-e-Kohi. Diwan-e-Kohi. New agriculture department. It was Department of Agriculture. Under this department, interest-free loan was given to peasants. Interest-free loan was given to peasants. Under this department, interest-free loan was given to peasants. And then attempt was made to improve the agriculture. Interest-free loan was given to peasants and attempts were made to improve the agriculture. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he went to Sindh to suppress the rebellion. Suppress the rebellion, where he caught the fever, and fever shoots up and he died. So he died of fever, but after his death, of the famous poet Burni, he was a historian, he was a writer, and sometimes we have the name Badaini also. Badaini. Burni and Badaini. He said that death of Sultan liberated people from Sultan and Sultan from people. दोनों एक दूसरे से परेशान है. So death of Sultan liberated people from Sultan and Sultan from people. So both are death of Sultan liberated people from Sultan and Sultan from people. So Burni and Badaini made this statement that both Sultan and people were very much tired of each other. So death of Sultan liberated people from Sultan and Sultan from people. So Burni and Badaini made this statement. So after Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he always fond of celebrating the Hindu festival. And whenever he was a very fascinated to celebrate the Holi particularly. So जब भी उसको होली खेलना होता था तो गब्बर सिंह की तरह ये नहीं पूछता था कि होली कब है. Same day, same time he played the Holi. So therefore, Burni, he was a very conservative Sunni Muslim. He said that this man is a kafir. Burni had painted the poster writing the name kafir under his name. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq put Burni in jail. So in jail he wrote the Tarikh-e-Firoz Shahi, and he was a strong critic of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He said that this man is a madman. So likewise Ibn Battuta also, he came from Morocco, Ibn Battuta, and he was a Moroccan, so he was African. There were only few Africans in Delhi, so he was looking very different. But he was a great scholar of the Islamic knowledge. So he get in contact with Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and Muhammad bin Tughlaq always praised the knowledgeable person. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he appointed him the Chief Justice of India, Qaji. He was made the Chief Qaji, Chief Justice of Delhi Sultanate. But every time he caught Muhammad bin Tughlaq and keep on writing the Quran and Shariat. So one day Muhammad bin Tughlaq became very angry and he asked Ibn Battuta to be transferred, that he was transferred to China as an ambassador. And you can imagine that entire China, there is only one African, and how do they would look like. And Chinese always, Subha Sham, खूब पीटता था उसको. And there was no Geneva Protocol also, that ambassador will have a diplomatic immunity. So therefore the Chinese was hovering over him. So he wrote many times later to Muhammad bin Tughlaq, sir, please call me back. But Muhammad bin Tughlaq kept him there for the long time. And when he returned back to India, he wrote his traveling experiences known as Rehla. And Rehla is the name of the book. And he wrote the first page of the book that this man is a madman. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq was known as Mad Sultan because of the comment made by Burni and Ibn Battuta. So you need to remember the name of the two books. That is Barni and the Ibn Battuta. You need to remember this name of the two books. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So after Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the new Sultan, that is the Firuz Shah Tughlaq. Firuz Shah Tughlaq, he was born to a Hindu mother, so therefore he was more in projection with the religious zeal. So let us see his work, Firuz Shah Tughlaq. His policy, his religious policy, कुछ लोग महान पैदा होते हैं, कुछ लोगों पर महानता थोप दी जाती है, और कुछ लोग बार बार थोपो तो भी महान नहीं बन पाता है. तो ये उसी कैटेगरी में आदमी था कि somebody born great और कुछ लोगों पर महानता थोप दी जाती है, और इतनी बार महानता थोपने के बाद भी कोई महान ना बन सके, तो ये फिरोज शाह तुगलक ही था. तो Firuz Shah Tughlaq, his religious policy was very much conservative and fundamentalist. Religious policies of Firuz Shah Tughlaq, very much conservative and fundamentalist. He was born to a Hindu mother, so obviously he had a great courage, a great responsibility, or under pressure to prove his credential for Islam. So therefore his policy was fundamentalist or the conservative. So he followed a conservative and fundamentalist policy. Conservative and fundamentalist policies. He collected jizya from the Brahmins also. I have discussed about jizya. I hope you understand. Jizya was a religious tax paid by a non-Muslim in an Islamic state in lieu of the religious freedom other than Islam and for protection of the property. I know I have already dictated all these things in the very first day when started the Islamic invasion over India. So jizya was a religious tax paid by a non-Muslim in an Islamic state for religious freedom and to freedom to possess the property. But payment of jizya would make you the second class citizen. So payment of jizya was make you second class citizen. Jizya. So he imposed jizya on Brahmins also. Brahmins also. He imposed jizya on Brahmins also. Imposed jizya on Brahmins also. He ordered demolition of temples. Demolition of temples. 2 temples was destroyed during his reign. Jagannath Temple, Puri. Puri. Odisha. Jagannath Temple, Puri, and Jwalamukhi Temple, Nagarkot. Jalamukhi temple of Nagarkot. Jagannath temple Puri and Jalamukhi temple of Nagarkot. Jalamukhi temple of Nagarkot. These two temples was destroyed. From Jalamukhi temple he collected large number of Sanskrit literature. Which was translated in Persian. Which was translated in Persian. Large number of Sanskrit literature which was translated in Persian. Jalamukhi temple of Nagarkot. So demolition of temples. His welfare activities. Welfare works of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Welfare works of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. He abolished not less than 23 to 24 taxes which was considered as un-Islamic. He abolished 23 to 24 taxes which is considered as un-Islamic. It was known as Abab. Abab means extra tax. Known as Abab. That is extra tax. Un-Islamic means this tax was not in the Islamic rule book Shariat. This tax was not sanctioned by Shariat. So therefore it's called un-Islamic. Un-Islamic. Fine. So 23 to 24 taxes is abolished. It's considered as un-Islamic, known as Abab, extra tax. Not sanctioned by Shariat. Not sanctioned by Shariat. 23 to 24 taxes. Above. Extra tax. So he collected only few taxes that he collected. He collected only few taxes. Khams, Kharaj, zakat, zajya, usra. So let me write on the board, otherwise you people will not able to get it. Fine. So he collected only 5 taxes. Firoz Shah Tughlaq, he collected only 5 taxes. Zakat, jizya, kharaj, usra. Khams. These are the 5 taxes collected by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So zakat was religious tax paid by Muslims for promotion of Islam. Religious tax by Muslims for promotion of Islam. This is called zakat. Then jizya, I told you, religious tax paid by non-Muslims for religious freedom and the freedom to possess the property. Kharaj, land tax paid by Muslims. Usr, land tax paid by Hindus, non-Muslims. Kharaj was half of Usra. So Muslims had to pay only half, 50% of the land tax compared to Hindus. If there are 30% tax on Hindus' land tax, then Muslims would have to pay only 15%. So Kharaj was half of the Usra. Khams was spoil of the war. Spoil of the war. Khams was spoil of the war. Khams was spoil of the war. So according to whatever you have spoiled the war, khams was distributed. So khams was distributed, that 1/5 part of the khams for the soldier, for the state. 1/5 part of the khams was for the state. And 4/5 part should go to the soldier. This is as per the Shariat. The khams was spoil of the war. So 1/5 part should go to the state and 4/5 part should go to the soldier. So it was spoil of the war. Spoil of the war. Zakat, jizya, kharaj, usr, khams. So Kharaj, how about the Usra? These are the 5 taxes collected by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So he relieved 23 to 24 taxes was abolished, which is considered as un-Islamic. And then it was not sanctioned by Shariat. But now he collected only 5 taxes. So welfare activities of Firoz Shah Tughlaq was very, very strongly acknowledged. Firoz Shah Tughlaq. He constructed some of the major irrigation systems, like in between river Yamuna and river Satluj. So although there was no irrigation tax mentioned in the state, mentioned in the state, but very soon the state decided to collect 10% irrigation tax known as Hak-e-Sarb. So Hak-e-Sarb was collected as an irrigation tax. This is something new. This tax was basically a new tax which is not sanctioned in Shariat. So he constructed many canals by cutting the Yamuna and Satluj and to provide the irrigation facility for the peasants. So those land which was irrigated under this facility, that land was to be surveyed. And then 10% of the total production has to be taken as a tax, which is called irrigation tax. So that is in the Farsi, this is in Persian, it's called Hak-e-Sarb. Hak-e-Sarb. This was 10%. So his cousin brother Jauna Khan, so in the memory of Jauna Khan, he constructed the city of Jaunpur in Uttar Pradesh on the bank of river Gomati, and other cities like Firozpur, Firozabad, Fatehpur and Fatehabad. These are the cities built by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq, he constructed 3 new departments, administrative reforms. So he restarted Iqta system. I hope you remember that who closed the Iqta system? Alauddin Khilji. So he restarted the Iqta system. He made Iqta system hereditary. Hereditary Iqta system is there. Hereditary Iqta system means if your son can inherit the Iqta, if not son, then slave, son-in-law, all can inherit the Iqta. All can inherit the Iqta. So they are the real, or they become the real factor for the decline of the Sultanate. Because once the Iqta system was made hereditary, they associated with the land, they challenged the centralized authority. So Firoz Shah Tughlaq not only made the Iqta system restarted, but he made the Iqta system hereditary. Even slave can inherit the Iqta. So that means there is an association of the military commander with the land, created a primary reason for disintegration of Sultanate. Made the primary reason for disintegration of Sultanate. primary reason for disintegration of Sultanate. So he made Iqta system region. So Iqta system making hereditary is primary factor that led to the disintegration of Sultanate. Disintegration of Sultanate. He created 3 new departments: Diwane Bandagani, Diwane Bandagani was slave department. Slave department. Diwane Bandagani, it was a slave department. Slave department. Slave department. Firoz Shah Tughlaq was not having more than 1,80,000 slaves. So large number of slaves he had. For the welfare of the slave, he established this department. That's called Diwane Bandagani. In this department, slaves were getting a skill development program. They were trained in various skill development measures. So some activities, works that all together was made. So skill development measures, Diwane Bandagani. Second, Diwane Khairat, for poor Muslim girls and widows. Poor Muslim girls and widows for marriage. Poor Muslim girls and widows for marriage. Diwane Khairat. Diwane Khairat. Poor Muslim girls and widows for marriage. This is known as Diwane Khairat. And the third is Diwane Istihaq. That is pension department. Diwane Istihaq, it was a pension department. Means once the Iqta system became hereditary, then all the officers were also getting hereditary pensions. So that is primarily responsible for the decline of Sultanate. The Sultanate had lost this control mechanism on the various units of the state, and then subsequently the entire things had collapsed in the part of the Sultanate. So there are 3 important department established by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So we'll continue these things tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll carry forward all the things related to the Tughlaq, Sayyid and Lodi, then administration of the state, and then we may start the Mughal also. Okay, and see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.